A splendid 10-wicket victory by Team India, once again dominating over their oppositions for now a very long time. They are on a world conquering spree. And I'm once again delighted to be joined by not only my personal favorite, but also a very popular face and the very learned Joydeep Mukherjee, a thorough gentleman as always. Joyda, first of all, before we begin, give me a double high five this time. A double high five. Again, once again, you have been outstandingly accurate with your predictions as you stated that Team India's bowlers would just run through the oppositions, and more so, the pace bowlers have done an outstanding job. We have Deepak Chahar, we have Prasidh Krishna, and we have Muhammad Siraj doing most of the damage. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this was an easy one because when you once you told me that there was grass in the wicket, I know how good these guys are with a new cricket ball in hand. And as we were discussing in the pre-show, that this Zimbabwe team is, as far as its preparation is concerned, is not where it's meant to be, and that's through no fault of theirs. So the reason for that is that they've had many issues around their country, so they've not been able to be at their best. Now you play these sort of bowlers on a green wicket, and the captain wins the toss and elects to field. Obviously, there's a bit of juice in the pitch. And today, I thought the fast bowlers were superb, and as good as they were, uh, I feel a little bit for Zimbabwe. Like this is one exam where they've got a 1 week to study. You need a year to study for this one, but you only got a week. And by studying for a week, you can only do that well. And that's what it came down to. This is not the Zimbabwe that we'll ultimately see. But unfortunately, at this point in time, this is where they are. And we will have to give them time for them to get their game to the level that we associate Zimbabwe with. And which is why today's is disappointing. Yes, it looked very lopsided, one-sided. You can call it what you want. But at the end of the day, it's just one cricket game. And nothing went right for Zimbabwe. They were against a very good opposition on a difficult pitch. And these bowlers were just too good for them today.
Very true. It definitely was a thumping win for Team India. Now, before we start basking in that glory, as you correctly stated, and let's harp on what you just stated that it's time, we feel a bit for Zimbabwe. So let's have you talking us through your thoughts about Zimbabwe's performance. First, let's dissect their batting and then we'll come to their bowling. In batting, would you personally say that the top order should have contributed a bit more because as the batting was coming to an end for Zimbabwe, it's the tail enders who managed to put up a 50 plus partnership which propelled them to put up a total of 189. So would you say that the top order, if had contributed a bit, perhaps they could have crossed that 200 mark and given themselves something to bowl to?
The conditions were tough, and the conditions got a little bit easier when the runs were scored. So, if these two batters who've got runs have come and batted in the beginning, they would have struggled as well. So it's not that just because they batted at the end, conditions were slightly easier. The venom out of the pitch had gone. The ball had become slightly older. Having put all these factors into play, I think it was difficult up front. So it's not that they weren't good enough today. You doff your hat and say the opponents were really good today. And today was one such day where the opponents were a lot better than you. And that's what it was. Just the level of the skill level of both the teams were totally at a different level. And talk about skill levels, who better than Nishanjit Rao? Nishanjit, skill का बात हो रहा है, आप आ गए. Welcome.
निशांत जी, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका. कैसे हैं आप?
धन्यवाद. मैं बहुत बढ़िया हूँ. आप और जोयदा कैसे हैं? और कैसा है कोलकाता का मौसम?
कोलकाता में कभी बारिश, कभी धूप, कभी छाँव.
कभी धूप, कभी छाँव. लेकिन इंडियन टीम की तो छाँव ही छाँव चल रही है आजकल.
बिल्कुल. तुलसी मौसम पे तो उसी मौजू पे चलिए आपके पास ही आते हैं. Joyda gave us his thoughts, and Nishant, he never fails to impress with his bang on predictions. So that's why I've like literally given him the title of being called a clairvoyant from henceforth. So Nishant, I'll now come to you. What do you have to say about this very very thumping win by Team India, 10 wicket victory? Like, on one hand, let's bask in the glory, and on the other hand, let's feel for Zimbabwe, as Joyda stated.
uh, I think that's how it should be. Like if number one, like in the top 2 3 team, India would be landing up easily in the top 2 3 teams in the world cricket right now, up against the bottom ranked team in world cricket right now. It's like Federer playing a first round Wimbledon game against 88 seed or 89 seed. So more often than
Yeah.
not, the result would be what it is today. Uh, but having said that, I was a little surprised. Uh, I I think India. I feel that every step India is taking right now is in the direction of Asia Cup and the World Cup, T20 World Cup. And
Mm-hmm.
KL Rahul is coming out of a long injury layoff, and he should not miss out on any batting opportunities. The more time he gets in the middle, the better it will be for him before the Asia Cup. So I would have liked him to open today and get some, uh, match practice, some match batting. That is very different from. Uh, you can bat as much as you want in the nets, but batting in the match is completely different. That pressure is completely different. So he should clock some hours there before he lands in Asia Cup, because that would be a competition of different level. And I personally feel that is one thing which I thought that India should have looked at. But I'm sure there are far wiser men than me in that dressing room. My entire body's cricket knowledge can fit in their little finger. So I feel that they must be having their reasons. But this is what I feel about India's win today. That one thing which they should have done, like they gave a lot of. Deepak Chahar bowled and he got 3 wickets. Just imagine coming out of an injury, getting 3 wickets. It just gets you going. It gets your confidence back. It gets your rhythm back. You know, there is a very famous line which was given to me by John Wright, and he said, in the end, what matters is how many you scored and how many wickets you took. Rest all is details.
Yes,
So Deepak Chahar
very
today at
true.
the end of the day has 3 wickets, and that just straight away puts him in. He's back where he was actually. So KL Rahul needs some batting practice, and he would. I'm sure he also needs that. This is not like we are playing a one-day tournament after the other, and Shikhar Dhawan and Shubman Gill are like right now. Because the way they both performed in the West Indies, like they were excellent. So you don't want to change. Why fix it if it's not broken? If we are looking for something which is a short-term goal right now, here is that all your players who would be representing India in the Asia Cup and the World Cup should be in the best frame of mind, physically, mentally, and form wise. So I would like KL Rahul to get some batting.
It's good to see that KL Rahul, though we didn't get to see him bat today, it was such a lovely batting performance by both Shikhar Dhawan and Shubman Gill. Nishant, we'll continue with you before we move on to talking about India's clinical performance today. I and Joyda were having a conversation, and he was very rightly once again explaining to us about his thoughts about how difficult it must have been for Zimbabwe to come back so quickly with very limited time for revision. So I want you to give us your thoughts about what you felt with Zimbabwe's approach in this match, both their batting and their bowling. What do you have to say about it? Let's have you first talking us through your thoughts about their batting. Nishant, I believe, is facing network issues. So, Joyda, if we can have you talking with us again. You gave us your thoughts about Zimbabwe's batting. Now, let's have you talking to us about their bowling. Like, I may be very harsh, but there's one team who has bagged all 10 wickets, and there's another team who has failed to even bag a single wicket, like
Nishant is back for you.
Zimbabwe. Okay. Sorry, Joyda. I'll just come back to you with this question. Nishant, if we can have you, I'll just repeat the question for you. We were having a conversation with Joyda previously before you joined about Zimbabwe's performance today. The batting and the bowling, two completely different sides. First, let us have you talking us through your thoughts about Zimbabwe's batting today. Like the top order faltered so bad. Nishant is massively facing network issues. So Joyda, if you could answer us the question that
Yeah, I
I
think the question you had for me, Damini, was about the Zimbabwe bowling. Now, the conditions were
yeah,
very benign when India came out to bat. Obviously, there weren't enough runs on the board. Two very special players. I mean, I could go on and on about Shikhar Dhawan till the cows come home because you know how much I back him in
absolutely.
T20 cricket and in 50 overs cricket. Yes, I don't think he's the ideal opener for India in test matches, but besides that, if he would be in every Indian team of mine. Age is not a factor, fitness is, form is, ability to take pressure is. And for me, his consistency and his ability to take pressure matches, Champions Trophy final 100 in England. So those are the sort of matches where I look at a Shikhar Dhawan, 600 runs every season in the IPL. Now those don't come overnight, and he doesn't. It's just his consistency and commit the hour, commit the man. Big game. You got to win. Best opposition. Chennai, Mumbai. He's there. He's got the runs behind him. So for me, Shikhar is really a gun player, and he had somebody with him who's an equally gun player, but one who's still in the making of the great Shubman Gill. I don't think he's there as yet. It's very much in progress, and sometimes the real good dishes take a while to cook, and he's obviously getting cooked. And all these performances, there was a little bit of inconsistency that came through with Shubman Gill's name. That is beginning to change. I know Nishant rates him very highly, as do I, as do anybody who understands this game. But he is beginning to show his consistency. He's now joining the dots. He's joining the big innings. He's staying not out. He's not giving it away. He's not going and playing beyond himself. A not out, everybody says is like 5 days in the nets, 10 days in the nets. That's the amount of confidence. He goes out to bat again, not out in the last innings. You really feel that you're in great form. So he is now doing all the right things, and he's getting a masterclass from the other end from one Shikhar Dhawan.
Absolutely, he is getting a masterclass, and he's such a classy player until now. And he has so many years of game still left for him. Nishant, if now we have you and you could answer us the question we placed to you before,
I didn't hear that question. The line dropped.
I'll repeat it
And
for you.
if you can
Okay.
repeat quickly, I'll answer that
Yes.
question.
No worries. I'll repeat it for you. My question to you was I and Joyda were having a talk about Zimbabwe's performance today, both the batting and the bowling. So, if you could, by now, like, give your thoughts about both the sectors, both the sects where Zimbabwe unfortunately faltered today massively. First, start with their batting. Would you say that the top order should have contributed a bit more responsibly?
That goes that goes without saying. Like why you have top five batters? Their job is to get runs. Their It's not the job of the bowlers to get runs for you. Their job is to take wickets. Like it goes without saying. If your top batters have to get runs, that's what they are in the team for. It's like saying that you know what should be the presenter in the show doing? Anchoring, like anchoring the show. That's their job.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
but I think West Indies, Zimbabwe cricket has been struggling for a while. Uh, they were banned for a while by the ICC. Now they have come back. They are still struggling. Sometimes I remember once there was, and I always look cricket at from a very, very, I always think that cricket reflects the time in which we live in. It's the only game that reflects the time in which we live in. So the state of Zimbabwe's cricket is actually the state of their nation. It's a nation that is struggling. It's a country that's struggling, and that reflects in their team. Like when they were a much stable country in late 90s, they could surprise anyone with the likes of Andy Flower, Grant Flower, Heath Streak. But now, if you look at it, their country has been going through a very, very bad phase. Hopefully, they will recover because, cricket as a game needs 10, 12 really competitive teams. You don't need like top five teams and then top say the other six teams are like completely, they are on a different level. Then it will become a game of a lamb and a slaughter. So they will need some time. They will need some support from all the big nations. They will need some more cricket. They will need some more, I think, empathy from all of us to understand that they are going through a bad phase. And मुझे याद है एक बार there was a press conference after the World Cup final in 2010 T20 World Cup final, which Pakistan won at the Lords, and 2009, sorry, and Yunus Khan came. तो यूनुस खान से someone asked that आपकी टीम कमाल करती है, वैसे किसी दिन आप जिम्बाब्वे से हार जाते हो, अगले दिन आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया को हरा देते हो. तो his answer was beautiful. He said जैसी हमारी कंट्री है वैसी हमारी टीम है, हम कभी लोगों को सरप्राइज कर देते हैं, कभी हम खुद सरप्राइज हो जाते हैं. So that's that, like, coming back to that point, I think sometimes you really see what the team nation is going through. uh, that's why when Afghanistan does so well despite what is happening in their country, it's a great story. It's a great story of human spirit conquering over everything. And that is why sports tells you, sports often throw stories like this which are like completely inspiring. But I think Zimbabwe cricket, they need some time, they need some support.
Yes, and if this was the batting, let's have you, talking us through their bowling performance as well, because I placed this question to Joyda as well. Now I need your thoughts on this. Like in a pitch, there is one team who has bagged all 10 wickets, and then there's Zimbabwe, unfortunately, who couldn't manage to bag a single wicket. So,
I think
what
I
do you
think the
think?
problem was that first they didn't get enough runs on the board where they could have created some pressure on the Indian batters. When you have to get only 190 runs in the 50 overs, these
Yeah.
batters now feel in the modern cricket, इनको 6 का टारगेट दे दो तो भी ये परेशान नहीं होते हैं. ये तो 3.5 का टारगेट था. Like this is like 3.5 runs per over.
Hmm, hmm,
Or
hmm, hmm.
and that too against probably the two batters in form, like in great form, Shikhar Dhawan and Shubman Gill. So
Yes.
वो वैसे भी कोई चांस नहीं था. I think if they would have got out, they would have got out because of their mistake, or they would have got one unplayable delivery. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, दोनों ही नहीं हुए आज. So I think sometimes in one day cricket, what happens is if you play the first half badly, then the match is over in the first 50 overs itself. And that was the case today.
नहीं, एक विकेट जरूर गिरता वो शुभमन गिल को, अगर ब्रैड इविंस 35 पे गिरा नहीं देते पॉइंट पे.
हाँ.
एक विकेट
अब
गिरता, सो या दे वुड बी डूइंग देयर मिस्टेक देयर, राइट?
No, what I'm trying to say is that
Square leg
वो भी
पे.
गिर जाता तो भी 10
सॉरी
विकेट से नहीं तो
सॉरी
9
जयदा,
विकेट से हार
स्क्वायर
जाते.
लेग. थैंक यू.
मैं कह रहा हूँ
थैंक यू
10
जयदा.
विकेट से 10 विकेट से नहीं तो 9 विकेट से हार जाते. मतलब ऐसा कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. ये मैच ऐसे ही खत्म होता.
Yeah, I mean, you know what Nishad is saying is it's not about winning by 10 wickets. Even if we won by 5
यस
wickets,
जयदा.
still a win. Still a win.
Hmm.
So, I mean, okay, I know a 10 wicket win is maybe on the face of it, when you talk about it, lost by 10 wickets, it feels bad. But when, 10 days later, we talk about it, they'll just say India won, India won. It won't say a 10 wicket win. And what Nishad's even made a great point. You see, once you've had a bad day with the bat, then what can the bowlers do? What can the bowlers
मतलब
do? You
आप
don't expect them.
180 रन पे क्या प्रेशर बनाओगे शुभमन गिल
क्या
के ऊपर
प्रेशर
और
था?
शिखर धवन के ऊपर.
And also the pitch was a factor. I mean, it was a lot more juicy in the morning. Everybody saw the game, and also the quality, the class of the bowlers. If the Indian batters were facing the Indian bowlers, it might not have been a 10 wicket win. It might have been a 7 wicket win or 8 wicket win.
Yeah.
Still would have been a win. So it's a game of skill. It's the bowler skill versus the batter skill. And today, for once, the disparity was too much.
पर मेरे को अभी याद आया
हाँ
दामिनी, अभी थोड़ी
जी।
देर पहले आपने एक वर्ड बोला था और वो मेरे दिमाग में फंसा हुआ है तब से। इसी मौजू पे बात करते हैं। ये गालिब की उर्दू कोलकाता में कैसे आ रही है, ये मेरे को समझना है थोड़ा सा।
अब क्या करे, पिता मेरे लखनऊ के हैं, माता मेरी दिल्ली
ओ,
की है, तो मैंने आपको बार
ओ,
बार बताया है कि मैं सिर्फ नाम से ही बंगाली हूँ।
आ,
पंजाबियों का, उर्दू वालों का खून मेरे अंदर ज्यादा दौड़ता है।
जोएदा, मौजू
आप
is a word which only 1% people will use in this country. I can promise you that.
And two of them are here.
तो घबराइए नहीं, बंगाली लोग भी बहुत अच्छी हिंदी बोल लेते हैं, बहुत अच्छी उर्दू
ये
भाषी
तो
भी
हिंदी
होते
था
हैं,
नहीं.
इत्मीनान रखिए है। उर्दू,
I तो
आई
no,
जस्ट स्टेटेड ना, उर्दू भाषी भी होते हैं।
I had no idea what this word meant. That's why I kept quiet. Let Nishan
On
take
this,
this ball.
mauzu is
When
on this
when
topic.
when the bowling is really good, go to the non-strikers end. That's exactly what I did.
On
You
this
just
topic.
rotated the strike. Oh god.
Yeah, I took a single, hit my thigh pad. I had no idea how that ball came and hit my thigh pad. Went to square leg, took a single, and told Nishan, "Abhi bete, aap 5 ball khelo udhar."
मौजू इज टॉपिक।
हाँ, अभी तो वो तो पता चल गया 5 बॉल खेलने के बाद, बट जब बॉल आया था पता नहीं था.
चलिए चलिए आते हैं, मैच पे आते हैं। ये एक अजीब सा मैच था वेयर both the Indian openers, they led India to victory but couldn't score a century. Why? Because in Nishan's words, there weren't so many runs put up by the opposition to score a century.
Yeah,
But
Damini,
jokes
this
apart,
sort of a
yeah.
match, I'll just interrupt. This
Hmm,
sort of a match, you cannot
hmm.
dissect it too much. You have to see the overall
या
Yeah,
match. You can't go into
exactly.
the details of this match. But what you
Huh.
can do is, what can Zimbabwe do better?
Mm.
आई
What could
थिंक आई
India have
थिंक
done better? I think India could have done
So,
better. I think India could have bowled this team out for 140. So that is what India could have done better.
yes, this leads me. Thank you, Joyda. You have reminded me something very solid here, because the fifth wicket fell when Zimbabwe were batting at 110. From then onwards, and this question is, I remember asking both of you gentlemen this same question in the final ODI of India versus England series. I remember asking you that why do Indian bowlers take so much time to dismiss opposition tail enders. यहाँ पे 110 पे पांचवा विकेट गिर गया था, उसके बाद 50 से ज्यादा रन का पार्टनरशिप जिम्बाब्वे के टेल एंडर्स को क्यों बनाने दिया गया?
Did you ask the
वो
same
इसलिए
question
वो
when India were 118 for 5 in the NatWest final?
Joyda, I was 5 years old at that time.
But you know about that game, right?
Yeah, but I was just
So
5 years old now.
yeah, but now, yeah, I know. But now, if I ask you that question, that were England a bit loose that day? That after being 118 for 5 with Ganguly, Sehwag, Mongia, who else? Sachin, Rahul, back in the pavilion, again, the skill of Yuvraj and Kef that day was better than the bowlers. So sometimes you have to give credit to the others also. It's not always that we were bad. They were better. They're also here to play games. Today, the guys who got runs batted really well. Yes, the conditions were benign slightly. The juice had gone away from the pitch. The ball had become older. So having put all that into consideration, those two guys batted really well. It's not always our fault. If you get 8 on
वो
10 and I get 9 on 10, that doesn't mean it's your fault. You've still got 8 on 10. But I've got 9 on 10 because I'm better than you. But that doesn't belittle you. You have got 80%, but I've got 90%. You've done well, but I've done really well. So
Better.
nobody has done badly here. Somebody has done better than you, and that happens in life often.
जोयदा, पता है वो रन क्यों बने थे? लेट मी गो ऑन द लिटिल लाइटर नोट। वो रन इसलिए बने थे, सोचो अभी ये 190 से हारे हैं, तो 190 रन बनाए हैं, तो दामनी कितनी उनको कैरी है, जिम्बाब्वे ने ये नहीं किया वो नहीं किया। 120 रन पे आउट हो जाते तो दामनी उनको आज कच्चा खा जाती, साउथ अफ्रीका जाती। दामनी, आप
ये क्या बात हुई?
वर यू लाइक अ वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट प्रिंसिपल, लाइक ये
क्या
क्यों हुआ,
बात हुई?
ये क्यों हुआ, ऐसे क्यों हुआ, 180 पे क्यों आउट किया, 120 पे क्यों नहीं किया, ये क्या मतलब
ये
है,
क्या हो रहा है
110
मेरे
पे
साथ?
33
मुझ पे आई डिमांड डिप्लोमेटिक इम्यूनिटी जस्ट नाउ। मुझ पे बहुत ही वाहियात इल्जामात लगाए जा रहे हैं, ये क्या बात है? नहीं,
I am calling you a very principled.
I demand justice. No, I demand justice. Okay. On a lighter note, as we
Damni को ना,
yeah.
Damni is like that parent. If you like consider as a parent, like जैसे मेरे भी बच्चे हैं ना, तो who will not settle for less than A plus?
नहीं
क्या
नहीं, कोई चांस ही
मजाक है
नहीं है।
ये? क्या
Chance ही नहीं है ना
मजाक है
दादा.
ये?
I really fear for your kids in the future. Whenever you will have.
ये क्या बात हुई?
ये मम्मी
अरे
नहीं छोड़ेगी. अरे 110 पे 5 विकेट लेके तुमने 180 रन बनवा दिए.
हाँ, तो इंडिया जैसे एक सेकंड, निशांत जी, आपने खुद कहा है कि इंडिया की बॉलिंग अटैक वर्ल्ड की दी बेस्ट कैटेगरी में आती है, हाँ या ना? आपने खुद कहा था, बराबर है। जॉयदा, एक सेकंड आप सुन लीजिए, जॉयदा ने प्री शो में कहा था कि इंडिया स्पेस अटैक इज गोइंग टू रन ओवर जिम्बाब्वे, बराबर है। तो अगर 110 पे ऑपोजिशन का 5वां विकेट गिर जाता है, जहां पे टॉप 5 ने, आप ही की जुबानी, टॉप 5 ने कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं किया है, तो फिर ऑपोजिशन के आखिर 2 बैट्समैन आके 50 प्लस की पार्टनरशिप कैसे कर लेते हैं? इसका जवाब आप दीजिए। और ये कहां से स्ट्रिक्टनेस हुई, आप ये बताइए।
हाँ,
मैं बताता हूँ कैसे करते हैं, फिर उसके बाद जॉयदा भी बताएंगे। आज पूरी तसल्ली कराएंगे, भले 1.5 घंटे का शो हो, लेकिन ये
बिल्कुल, आज तो हो ही जाए। उन्होंने 50 ओवर नहीं खेले, चलिए आज तो ओडीआई खेल ही लेते हैं पूरा, चलिए।
110 पे जब आपके 5 विकेट होते हैं, तब थोड़ा बॉल पुराना हो जाता है, थोड़े बॉलर थक जाते हैं, थोड़ा ड्रेसिंग रूम में लोगों को ऐसे खेलना है। और एक और बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है, जो शुरू में बैट्समैन बैटिंग करते हैं वो रन बनाने के लिए करते हैं, लेकिन बाद में जब 5 विकेटें गिर जाती हैं, तो जो बैट्समैन उसके बाद आते हैं, उनका एम रन बनाना नहीं होता, उनका एम होता है हमने 50 ओवर पूरे खेलने हैं। तो वो अपनी गेम से रिस्क को एलिमिनेट कर देते हैं। अगर आप 110 फॉर 5 हो और 24-25 ओवर हुए हैं, आपके सामने 25 ओवर पड़े हैं, तो आप क्या अप्रोच करोगे? आप उसको ऐसे थोड़ा ना अप्रोच करोगे कि यार हम अभी भी शॉटे मारेंगे एंड देन वी विल बी ऑल आउट इन 130 रन्स इन 30th ओवर, और वी विल से we will defend and we will make the most of whatever is left ahead of us. And in that process you play a very calculated game where you take minimum risk, and in that process आपके जो बॉलर्स के विकेट लेने के चांसेस हैं वो कम हो जाते हैं। नए बॉल से स्विंग होता है, नए बॉल से सीम होता है, नया बॉल बाउंस होता है, लेकिन 110 रन बनने के बाद वो बॉल उतना ज्यादा ना हिलेगा ना मूव करेगा। विकेट पे भी जो थोड़ा जूस होता है वो खत्म हो जाता है। बैट्समैन को भी थोड़ा समझ में आ जाता है कि इस पिच पे ये हो रहा है। आप ड्रेसिंग रूम में बैठ के भी देख रहे होते हो ना गेम की, अच्छा यार कैसे आउट हो रहे हैं लोग, हाउ आर दे गेटिंग आउट, or why is he bowling like this? So if he bowls like this, I will do this.
And to add to that, there is also a change of bowler. There are a couple of bowlers who with good days, the others come and bowl, so it gets a bit easier. So if I'm having really trouble facing you and Nishant bowling from 2 ends, you've got 3 wickets, he's got 2, we are 5 down. Suddenly the next guy comes, so I have somebody else, the third bowler comes, I feel life is a bit easier. I can handle this guy. Those 2 were too good. So not everybody bowls at their best every day. Today, the guys who bowled at their best got their wickets, their spell finished, they went for a break, then some runs were scored in the middle. And that is the reason why 1983, and I know you were not born then, that's the reason why we won the World Cup. We shouldn't have won the World Cup. If everything happens, how can Zimbabwe not even be like this? Because it's a skill game. If everything happens on seeds, like Nishad, then every time the first seed should win every tournament. Then India shouldn't have won the 1983 World Cup. So that is the reason why we seed them. We have favorites, but then the game starts. That's why it's called a game.
चूंकि आज हम हिंदी में भी थोड़ी बात कर रहे हैं, तो मैं एक बार फिर आपको बोलता हूँ, क्रिकेट जो है ना अनिश्चितताओं का खेल है।
हाँ,
यहाँ कुछ भी निश्चित नहीं है।
हाँ,
इट्स अ गेम ऑफ ग्लोरियस अनसर्टेनिटीज।
हाँ,
There's a coach of ours who
समझ आ जाए ना।
Yeah, समझ आ गया. There is a coach of ours who used to say, Cricket is a game of glory of uncertainties. Only thing certain is lunch. Lunch मिलेगा दोपहर को.
ठीक बात है.
ये सही बात है. And with this we come to the end of this very hilarious and animated discussion on the first ODI. And trust me, gentlemen, you guys entertained me so much. I had a blast with you guys. This literally has to be one of the best shows I have attended with you two. On an ending note, yeah, the player of the match is Deepak Chahar for his figures of 3 for 27 in 7 overs. He was outstanding. And this was the post-match show of the first. Yeah.
Before we go, I just want to say that, we should talk a bit about Indian bowling today, because it has also increased problem for the
Please.
selectors.
Please.
Deepak Chahar getting those 3 wickets. Now, the Indian team management has to think they have Bumrah, they have Harshal Patel, they have Arshdeep, they have Bhuvneshwar Kumar, they have Siraj, and they have Deepak Chahar also.
Absolutely spoiled for choices.
हाँ, और अक्षर पटेल is in the form of his life. उसको बैटिंग दे दो, he is turning everything into gold. उसको bowling दे दो, today also he got 3 wickets. So it's a very, very interesting and tricky selection. I know when the team will be made, there will be Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel will not be there, and rightly so. But at that time, you will actually feel sorry for Akshar Patel on missing out.
No, I think he might be the 15. You never know. He might be a backup.
Yeah,
for,
you never know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you never
because
know.
see, also the selectors.
COVID protocol, they might allow you to take
even
20 players.
No, I am hearing it's going to be 15 or 16. But even I think he'll be 15 or 16. You might not want to take an off spinner if you don't want to, because Chahal will be there. We know that. But what see, when you have a 15-member squad or 16-member, it's very important that you need some multi-dimensional cricketers, because Akshar can bat, Akshar can bowl. So if there's a batter shot, he can play. If you're a bowler shot, he can play. He brings in a lot of positives from his side. But the point you made about selection, the selectors will know, Nishant, that this is a weak Zimbabwe team. They will know that.
Absolutely.
What they want to see is what sort of form is Deepak Chahar in? How is he running in? How is the ball coming out of the hand? It's not about his 3 wickets. Even if he had gone wicketless in the series, does he fit in? Because he's a guy who's supposed to bowl with the new ball. Come the World Cup, he's supposed to bowl maybe 3 in the first 6, maybe even bowl 1 more, maybe in 12, 13. He's handy with the bat. That's a huge plus. So these are the things they'll be seeing. More so than how many wickets he's getting, what sort of form is he in. The bowling coach, Paras Mamre, who's on a break right now in this trip, will sit in his Mumbai home and watch him and say, I like the way he's running in. I like the way he's following through. I like his action. He's almost back to his best. That is what they'll see. And then they'll decide who they'll go with.
I completely agree with you. So I think, like we have been talking a lot about how Zimbabwe failed as a batting unit and how India did very well in the batting. I feel it is other way around. It's not that Zimbabwe bowled badly and India batted very well. It was, I think, India bowled very well and Zimbabwe batted badly. So the story of the match is in the first half, not the second half.
Yes, very true. And Joanna, on an ending note, according to your logic, India won the 83 World Cup because I wasn't born then. That's why.
No, I never said that. I said, I know you weren't born then. I think you got this wrong. What I said was because when I said
No, please don't take it seriously. It's an absolute joke. I'm telling you, I'm taking it very lightly.
In 2002, when I mentioned, you said you were 5 years old. I'm saying in 1983, you weren't born, I know. But there also was a game that the complete, the team that was always playing second fiddle won. So now everything doesn't happen on form. So the then Damini Basu of West Indies must be saying, how did we lose to India? How it's possible? Because it's a game of skill on that given day.
मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं. एक दिन ना, let's do this show. दामिनी को पूरा 83 का मैच दिखाते हैं, फाइनल, और उसके बाद शो करते हैं. मैं आपको दामिनी के 4 क्वेश्चन बताता हूं. पहला क्वेश्चन, हाउ कैन इंडिया गेट आउट एट 183?
हाँ, agree.
दूसरा क्वेश्चन, इंडिया at one time were West Indies were 90 for 6. How they allowed the fifth wicket partnership where we started feeling pressure and we thought at one point that Jeff Dujon and the late order people like Joel Garner and Michael Holding will win the match for West Indies.
Yes, agree.
तीसरा, Yashpal Sharma got 30 plus runs. Late poor Yashpal Sharma, 30 plus runs. Why he didn't convert it into a 50? What do you have to say about Sunil Gavaskar's form in the entire tournament? These are Damini's 5 questions. बाकी आपको जो बोलना है बोलो.
आज मैं
1 लाख.
ऐलान करती हूँ कि मुझे डिप्लोमेटिक इम्प्यूनिटी अभी इसी वक्त चाहिए, क्योंकि मुझ पे बहुत सारे इल्जाम लगाए गए हैं. मुझे
No,
इंसाफ
ilzamat nahi
चाहिए.
hai. I think these are great questions. These are superb
These are
questions.
great
he's
questions.
asked. Yeah, we are praising you here. We are not ilzamat nahi hai. My Hindi
देखो,
is not even half as good as yours, or both of you. But
नहीं,
this is just to say that this is relevant. But sometimes what he's trying to say here is that day we were better. Although we are not better team overall, we went after that and we got thrashed in the next 10 games. But that particular day we were better. So that's the reason why it's all about today's form. Day after tomorrow it could change.
मैंने आपको वुमेन्स वर्ल्ड कप के लिए जब ऑस्ट्रेलिया और इंडिया का फाइनल था, मैंने आपको क्या बोला था? If India will win, that would mean that Australia were at their worst and India was at their best.
नहीं, इंडिया वॉज एट देयर बेस्ट. नहीं, देखिए निशान जी, कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स का फाइनल ना इंडिया जीत रही थी. वो बीच में क्या हो गया, तार वायर कनेक्शन इधर उधर हो गया. एक मैच, ये वाला मैच ना इंडिया की जीत में था. आप डिसएग्री कीजिए, आप डिसएग्री कीजिए. नहीं 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 नहीं, आप डिसएग्री कीजिए, लेकिन वो मैच इंडिया जीत रही थी. कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स का गोल्ड इंडिया के हाथों में था.
मुझे एक बात बताओ, लास्ट में पोडियम में गोल्ड मेडल किसके गले में था?
ऑस्ट्रेलिया.
हाँ, तो बाकी सब थ्योरी है.
हाँ, बोल लो, जाइए बोल लो, जो मन में आए बोलो आप. माफ कर दो, आप दोनों से मेरा नहीं बनने वाला है. ओ गॉड, बोलती बंद करा दी मेरी. आई विल निशांत, अब देख लो अगले शो में झगड़ा बाकी रहेगा.
अगले शो में तो मैं फ्लाइट में होऊंगा क्योंकि मैं वापस घर जा रहा हूँ.
हाँ तो हाँ ठीक है, आप कनाडा जाइए, तैयारी कीजिए. अब जंग होगी आपके साथ मेरी. चलिए,
अब आप बोरिया को बोल सकते हो, आई विल मीट हिम विद स्टेबल कनेक्शन, नाइस लाइट, नो इंटरनेट इश्यूज एंड एवरीथिंग
गुड कॉफी
इन स्पैन.
Good coffee.
Coffee in the hand.
Joyda, help.
No, everything good. Had a great show. I think, overall,
Great
just
show,
to sum
we
it up,
enjoyed.
Today was a day where we should not be really measuring these teams because, it wasn't, it was, when somebody is not at their best, we shouldn't be measuring them. Never measure any person on.
Let's end it with a punchline. Today was a bad day for Zimbabwe and Damini.
मेरे लिए क्यों? मेरे लिए बैड डे क्यों? अरे
आज आपकी ट्रोलिंग हुई है थोड़ी सी. बाय बाय.
खाया पिया कुछ नहीं, ग्लास थोड़ा बड़ा आना, ये क्या बात हुई?
Take care, Damini. Take care.
Nishant, you have a pleasant flight back to Canada. This was the post-match show. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining. And Joyda, we meet again on the 20th. Thank you. And take care.
For sure. Thank you.